So let's begin by looking at how the Agents Act is put together. The Agents Act is set up in a number of parts, and those parts will outline certain issues that are required in order to have agency practice in the ACT. The best way to be able to access it is to look at the contents page. You will see Part 1 is simply preliminary, and Part 2 will actually refer to the different types of agency practice, being real estate agent, business, stock and station, and travel and employment agents. The thing that they all have in common, of course, is that they act on behalf of a client. The employment agent, for example, doesn't own the job that is being offered, nor does the travel agent own the holiday or the flight. The same as the real estate agent doesn't own the property that they're offering for sale or lease. They're simply offering a service to sell or lease on the client's behalf. So Part 3 then will actually open up a very important issue of the licensing of agents. Agents are to be licensed. You need a license to open up a business for real estate and of the other agencies, travel, employment and so on. Very important that Section 23 that we have here is unlicensed agent cannot recover fees. So it's very important to have that license. Now, it goes on further to talk about the eligibility, qualifications and disqualifications for licenses. If we click on Section 25, it will tell us that a regulation, which we'll be looking at in another time, will prescribe the qualifications. It actually doesn't tell us what the qualifications are, but it does tell us that we do need to have that qualifications for a license. So coming back to the contents page, you will see then that there are certain procedures that we must follow in order to get a license and certain conditions, and you'll be able to read these at your leisure. And also, if an agent does do the wrong thing, grounds for occupational discipline and what possible orders may be given. Going on to Part 4 then, you will see that it almost mirrors what is done for the licensees with registration of salespeople. They also, stock and station, business and salespeople need to be registered. Also that they must go through certain qualifications and eligibility to be licensed or registered. Registration procedures and occupational discipline are covered similar to that of what we saw in the licensees area. Part 5 then briefly covers the conduct of licensed agents and registered salespeople, that a licensee must only employ other licensed or registered people. Section 77 talks about the fact that you can't have a conflict of interest by acting for the buyer and seller of land. You can only act for one or the other. Today we have buyer's agents who only act for buyers, or the seller's agents, which is the normal real estate agent salesperson. It also talks about you can't make false and misleading advertisements, Section 79. This mirrors other pieces of legislation in the Competition and Consumer Act, and how we can and can't disclose certain information and make false representations. So fairly understandable and reasonable conditions that are set on a registered salesperson or licensee.